In this video, the first thing I want to do is pat myself on the back for not making a great expectations joke, or a greater expectations joke. The second thing I want to do is talk about why I'm doing this as a lecture. Isn't this just course management that should happen behind the scenes? It is in a way, but I also realized while I prepared this information for my teaching assistants, I realized that it was useful for students to know what I expect of my teaching assistants. Sometimes students would ask me questions that a TA needed to answer, which was a waste of time for everybody, especially if the student set up a one-on-one meeting with me. They wait to talk to me, to hear me just say, I don't know, ask a TA. And sometimes TAs don't always fulfill their obligations. I know it's hard to believe. If students don't know that a TA is supposed to be doing something and it doesn't happen and I don't know about it, everybody is worse off. And finally, some of the students in this class may become TAs in the future, perhaps even for me, and they should know a priori what they're getting into if they sign up to be a TA with me. So that's why I'm talking about this in a lecture. So students know what to expect of me and of the TAs, and to increase the probability of us holding up our end of the bargain as a professor or as a TA. Public accountability, it's a good thing. TAs don't typically come to class. They're welcome to do so. I did this when I was a grad student with Brian Kernighan's Computers in Our World course, and it was fantastic. I got to meet Eric Schmidt in the process. So it's a good thing, but when TAs attend, they should make it clear if they're being an active or passive participant when they're there. Both are fine. If they come to class and sit in the front rows, I'll heavily involve them in the conversation and the discussion. If they sit in the back, I'll assume they're multitasking and doing other work to just get a sense of what's going on in the class. If they join via Zoom with their camera on, I assume they want to be an active participant. If their camera is off, I will assume that they're being passive. To students, TAs have the option of participating passively. Students do not have that option, so keep your camera on. And again, although TAs don't have to come to class, they need to be aware of what's going on, so they should at least, at the very minimum, go through all of the lecture videos to make sure that they're familiar with the content. The biggest thing that TAs do are homeworks. Usually I write the homeworks and write a solution to the homework. However, before I release my solution to the TAs must solve the homework themselves. This is important because, one, putting this constraint on the homework means that I can't leave writing it until the last moment. Two, it means that homeworks aren't impossible, at least for a TA. Three, it usually exposes some ambiguity or difficulty in the framing of the homework. And four, it allows the TAs to answer questions about the homework more easily if they've done it themselves and figured out where the messy corners are. At this point, we'll have at least two solutions to a homework. And if we are doing automatic grading, then the public and private tests need to score both of these solutions perfectly. These scores also have to be on the leaderboard if the homework has a leaderboard. This way, the students know that the automatic grader is working. While students are working on the homework, they're going to have some questions. Students will ask these questions in class discussions and office hours or on the online discussion platform. Note that I didn't list email here. Don't ask questions over email. It will get lost in the shuffle, and often students have the same questions. Email doesn't have a good mechanism for letting other people who might have the same question know the answer. I expect TAs to be proactive in answering questions. They should regularly check for questions at least once a day and answer any unresolved questions. All questions should be resolved within 24 hours by somebody, either me or the TAs. When homeworks are due, TAs should spend more time checking in the hours leading up to the deadline. In my last class, I had 7 to 9 times the number of answers compared to any individual TA, and more answers than all of the TAs put together. Now, there are some questions that only I can answer, and I am responsible for answering those, but most of the questions asked in a course are about the homework. The numbers here should have been more equitable, and this is a sign that I didn't do a good job setting expectations. Again, hence why I'm doing this publicly. Because really, anyone could have answered questions about homework, and most of these were about the homework. Because this is a team effort, sometimes somebody will answer a question wrong. I'll step in and correct a TA if they got something wrong, and I hope that a TA will step in and correct me if I get something wrong. The takeaway is that it's okay to be wrong. We're all here to learn, and we're doing our best. Students should double check if they're confused, and instructors should edit each other's posts so that there's only one correct answer out there for students. And TAs should try to answer the question even if they're not 1000% sure that they're going to get it right. They can always ask for me to step in and double check it. Now, when it comes time to grade the homeworks, the TAs are fully in charge. They set up the online submission for each homework, grade them, and release the grades. If there's something wrong with a student's grade, the student goes to the TA who announced that grades were released first. Only if there is an irreconcilable disagreement between student and a TA do I get involved. And most of the time, I back up the TA. So let's review the timeline. Relative to the due date of the homework, I need to give the TA the homework outline 3 weeks before. 2 weeks before the deadline, the TA needs to complete their solution. 1 week before the deadline, the TA needs to get the leaderboard and submission system up. 1 week after the deadline, the TA needs to start grading, and will distribute the grades 2 weeks after the deadline. The 1 week after the deadline is to allow for any straggling late assignments to get included and to be graded all at once. Exam grading is similar. We aim to get feedback to students 10 days after the exam. Hopefully sooner, but don't start asking questions about where's the exam until 10 days after the exam. TAs also do reviews and workshops. This requires them to review the material and to be able to answer questions. Just like me, if there's a course relevant question that they don't know the answer to, they shouldn't just say, I don't know, in class and leave it there. They need to follow up afterwards with the answer. Students should let me know if that doesn't happen. For course projects with milestones, we will also try to get feedback to you within a week. But the thing with projects is that we don't always know if we are giving you the feedback that you need. So if there is a particular kind of feedback that students want, the student should explicitly state what kind of feedback that they're looking for. But please remember that we're all humans here, stuff happens, and despite the best intentions, schedules will slip. So please have grace and forgiveness for your TAs and professors. After all, you want us to do the same for you. This is just one video from a course that I'm teaching. If you want to get the whole context, check out the course webpage, linked below. There you can find all of the videos in the right order. YouTube likes to show you older videos out of order, homeworks, exercises, and recommended readings. And if you want to help other people find videos like this, please be sure to like and subscribe to provide a big gradient to the algorithm.